Well, if you missed it, we had a pretty big dev talk today talking about the future of formats in Flesh and Blood, which is a mouthful to say, but it was an exciting one to say the least because, and I won't sit here and dwell on this, but again, Blitz is not dead in the strictest sense that it doesn't exist anymore, and in fact, they did a big change to the format. Maybe we'll save that for another video, but I'm excited for it, and I've already built multiple decks in that format. I've been hoping for a singleton format for a little while now, actually, so I'm excited about that. But they also talked about the classic constructed format, which is what we're going to focus on today, because they did mention a couple of things that I very much agree with. I think this has been a really fun metagame to explore and to flesh out and then to play in, and we've been in this metagame for a large part of the year. And unlike another metagame that we were in for a large part of an entire year, that was the Lexi meta, unlike that time frame, this one has really, in a lot of ways, been a lot more fun and engaging, at least from my perspective. You tell me in a comment below if you disagree. But it's been a long time, and after a certain point, they brought something up that I totally resonate with. You've solved the puzzle to some degree. And yes, of course, there's always iterations, there's changes, there's heroes that come up and go down, and things that tweak the format. But by and large, the puzzle's essentially solved. And at a certain point, you just need a new puzzle. It's not that the puzzle's bad or broken. You just need something new to sink your teeth into. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I truly, firmly believe that they are going to be making some changes to this metagame on December 15th, 16th, and I think they're going to do some really interesting things. First and foremost, you have to know where we stand, and if you've been paying attention to Flesh and Blood, Gravy Bones, Syndra, and Verdance have been the top 3 decks for a while now, and they've all been jockeying for position and changing from tournament to tournament and metagame to metagame. And there are other heroes that have kind of come up, like Arachne Marionette has been the most recent hero to really kind of stake their claim. Arachne, a pretty strong and solid option on the most recent calling that we saw, I think it was last week. But Arachne Marionette, one of those heroes, but also like you've seen Kasai's do well. Acilio's been one of those heroes that has also done really, really well, and one we're going to talk about here very soon because I have some theories about Mr. Acilio that are going to, well, I don't know, maybe they're a little controversial with how I think they're going to be handling this banned and restricted announcement. And that's where we're going to focus, because they said something. LSS, James, Brian, said something in the, I think it was just specifically James actually, said something in the dev talk that stuck with me and made me want to make this video. He mentioned something that a lot of people have kind of said in the wings on social media. He said, you know, a ban and restricted announcement doesn't necessarily have to be only bans, or, you know, balancing a format doesn't have to be only bans. It could also be other things as well. You're not necessarily going to always just take away cards. And last week I made a video talking about what cards they could continue to take away from those top 3 decks. I do still think that there are ways to tweak those top 3 heroes to allow more other heroes to rise up. And I stand by the picks that we made in that video, and you know, people chimed in below that as well with their own picks. A lot of people saying Chum is a problem and so on and so forth. Okay, take Waning Moon for example. That's a cool idea to nerf Verdance. But I really do think that this time around they may be trying to buff a hero or two. And you know what? We might as well start with it. So if they're gonna buff something, if they're going to make a hero a little bit better and therefore a little bit more competitive in this metagame, what heroes would they like to, you know, target, or what heroes would be good candidates for making a little bit stronger to kind of combat some of those top 3? And also, what would they take off of the ban list in order to do that? Because it's not like they're going to errata a card. That won't be happening. They will not be doing that. Instead, if they want to go this route, they would be taking a card off the ban list and making it legal again. So we're going to start with Acilio, but of course, we do need to take a look at the card legality policy to really kind of know what we're talking about. And let me put it on the screen for you here as I click the buttons and make the thing pop up. There it is. here is the card legality policy. These are the cards that are banned in Classic Constructed. Of course, you have the major book banning with Art of War and all the tomes down here, but you have a bunch of other cards in the middle. Now, they're never going to unban Awakening, and we're not going to go down this list completely. They just banned Zephyr Needle. I don't think they're going to bring it back. I don't think Zephyr Needle is back on the menu. But there are some cards I see here that definitely could do something. And the first one we're going to talk about is none other than this card right here. That is Ball Lightning. If you wanted to push a hero just a little bit, maybe not even a little bit, but maybe a lot. If you wanted to push a hero to be able to combat some of these other racy heroes in the deck, these faster these faster heroes in the meta. If you wanted to make Acilio here, a hero that's already pretty solid, you wanted to make him a little bit better, Ball Lightning is definitely one way to do it. You could conceivably do what you did with the Bonds of Ancestry line and just allow the red to be played. You could say red Ball Lightning is a card that has 0 block, it has major combo potential, it has like a really strong punch, and it would give Acilio an extra bit that they might need in order to go toe-to-toe with Syndra. Okay, that's a big deal, because if we go to, and I'll try to pull this up on the screen, I have this sorted here. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the screen. It's not perfectly cut out, and in fact I will make a slight tweak to it so you can see a little bit better if I just slide this over and then shrink this down. We're doing it all live today because I just can't be bothered. I've got other great stuff going on in my life, and so I'm not going to make the cut right there. Instead, I'm just going to show you this on the screen. If we wanted Acilio to be better, where is he struggling? Well, he's doing okay into Syndra and, sorry, no, he's doing okay into Gravy and into Verdance, but he's struggling into Syndra, as you can see, a 39.3% win rate there. And then there are some other heroes as well that, like, for example, Dash.io, which is another hero that they could consider kind of pushing up. But if you wanted to take Acilio and make him a little bit better across the board and to try to make him race a little bit better in this matchup, you could conceivably give him this. Does he need it? Probably not. Probably not. I don't necessarily know that he would really need everything that Ball Lightning provides, because this card is truly cracked. But if you only have the one color, the 3 copies of Ball Lightning, this might be a really cool addition to kind of bring back and let other people feel the pain of the Ball Lightning combos. And honestly, that would be really, really interesting. But that was just the first impression spicy one that I saw, but it gets spicier because I do think that you could do some other stuff. Like, for example, if you wanted a hero or a class that could take its underrepresentation and start pushing it up and combat some of those, mid-rangey type heroes, like, what the heck if we just gave Brutes Berserk and just absolutely cracked KO Armed and Dangerous for like a hot minute before he just poofs off into the Living Legend status? That could be something that they could do as well. I do think that this would go crazy if you put Berserk back on the menu. But do keep in mind, Berserk is one of those cards. If I bounce back over here, Berserk is banned indeed. So you could bring Berserk back. But the interesting thing about bringing a card back is, like, a lot of these cards are aggressively slanted cards. Like Berserk is more of a combo-centric piece. But Ball Lightning, Art of War, Belittle, like some of these other cards down here. Where is it? Oh, I skipped over it, didn't I? No, where in the heck is the card that I thought of? And then a Stubby Hammerers, that's the one. And Plunder Run. Those types of cards are aggressive cards that you don't really want to bring back, because if you do, then you're giving Syndra the ability to play those cards, and she's already good enough as she is, and giving her access to like Art of War and things like that would make her, even better. So there's some danger there. But what if you wanted to push some of your newer heroes? Like, what if you wanted to allow a Guardian or a Brute, something like that, to do even better? I saw this one posted today. I forget who posted it, but it was on Twitter. I think it was Kale McCreath, actually. threw out the idea of Talk a Big Game just coming on back. Honestly, this would also be crazy, because just if you've never played against Pleiades or specifically against Goliath, when they chain together two of their like really big tower turns, it can feel disgusting. And 3 copies of Talk a Big Game, well, maybe not even 3, maybe you just like splash a couple and you just line it up. 3 copies of this, let's just go ahead and say it, alongside of all of the confidence tokens that you can create, would do some crazy stuff for some of those new school heroes. It would truly stake their claim as powerful heroes all of a sudden out of nowhere. Now, do those heroes present some unique angle in this metagame? Like, if we look at the numbers, and they're way down here, so we have to really hunt for them. Lyeth is punching above his weight, and he does have some data. And by the way, for those that are wondering, I do have data from Calling Valencia, Worlds, Battle Hardened Edinburgh, all the way down to Battle Hardened Sonoma and Hamburg as well. So I left out the LL, but I tried to grab the most recent Classic constructed data, and I compiled it. But as you can see, Pleiades not really doing much into Syndra and not really doing much into Verdance. So this could be a hero I would certainly see them maybe trying to prioritize. Some of the newer heroes, give them some of these tools to try and push some of these matchups a little bit. Like, if you just throw 13 confidence into 13 confidence against a Verdance Thorn of the Rose, maybe that's just good, like maybe that's just really sick. And then I have to say it because I'm just right here. My pirate friends would probably really enjoy some Tipples back on the menu, but the problem is, if you put Tipple back in for, like Marlin, for example, I would love to play Tipple Marlin and just mess around with that, because I only kind of touched it a little bit. Maybe that's not very good. But you give like Gravy Bones back. This is my one caveat. I would love to see Tipple back in, because Tipple makes me so happy to play as a card. Like, I really thoroughly enjoy playing Golden Tipple, but it makes Gravy Bones quite good. So you would have to you'd have to go that route that they've really not wanted to go down, of just giving one hero the specific ban, like hero specific bans, and letting the other heroes ride it out. That would be the way that they would have to go if you wanted to bring Golden Tipple back and kind of like actually make it effectual. But there's a couple of like cards on this list, if I tab back over here, that I could see them bringing back. The Ball Lightnings, maybe the Berserks, just to see what would happen. You could honestly maybe consider like bringing Crown of Seeds back. That might be a thing as well, because you just give that to Verdance, you give that to Florian, you give that to our Guardian friend, the big guy whose name, like, literally I completely forgot. Why the heck did I forget Jarl's name? Anyway, you give it to Jarl, maybe he can throw it down with that as well. That could be an interesting bring back. Talk a Big Game, I really do think could be a thing. I don't know. It could be that they want to bring Florian back to the forefront, and you could undo the Scepter of Pain like you did his specialization as well. But the rest of these, I don't know if they would ever touch. Nevertheless, I do feel as though we're in a place where they would consider the option of unbanning cards alongside of like a minor tweak here and there with a simple restriction or a ban, alongside, just to mix the metagame up going into the next year. Is that something that they're going to do? I do feel confident that they are going to do something like this, but I'm not sure which one they'll end up tweaking. So let me know what you think about this down in a comment below. How are they going to change the Classic constructed metagame? Because we know it is the tentpole format for this game, and it has been in such a good spot, but also kind of a stale spot for a while, maybe the past 2 months at this point. So it's going to need a shakeup, but you also don't want to just break it in half. So they ride a dangerous line by maybe unbanning some of these cards, but it's certainly an exciting one. If you enjoy this type of content, you want to see more, then stick to the channel and stay tuned. But of course, also make the number go to the other number. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.